Picture a land, onsekayet, the paradise of nations, where the soil was rich and the culture vibrant. Now, imagine that same land under a shadow, where farmers' hands were severed for not meeting impossible quotas, where millions starved while ships loaded with grain sailed for a distant shore. This wasn't a dystopian novel. This was British-ruled Bengal. The year is 1770. A devastating famine grips Bengal. Even Warren Hastings, the first Governor-General, admitted its severity could have been lessened, but instead of helping, British policies made a nightmare even worse. Taxes were brutally hiked on the starving population, and grain was hoarded by the East India Company to drive up prices. Profit was prioritized over people, a chilling pattern that would repeat itself. Then came Lord Cornwallis with his permanent settlement. It sounded official, but it was a system designed to trap peasants in a cycle of debt they could never escape. Farmers who couldn't pay lost everything: their land, their livelihood, their future. Historian R.C. Dutt would later calculate that this systematic exploitation drained India of what would be worth an astonishing £45 trillion today. It was legalized looting on a national scale. Lord Dalhousie's Doctrine of Lapse was another tool of conquest, allowing the British to simply annex Indian kingdoms if a ruler died without a male heir. One by one, ancient states were swallowed up, their treasures and sovereignty stolen. When Indians finally rose up in the Great Rebellion of 1857, the British response was utterly savage. General Neil and Cawnpore forced captives to lick blood from the streets before he executed them. A brutal act of humiliation and terror. Yet, even in this darkness, voices of defiance emerged. The great poet Rabindranath Tagore powerfully wrote how British rule systematically broke the backbone of our nation. Dadabhai Naoroji, the grand old man of India, meticulously exposed the drain of wealth, proving with cold, hard facts how Britain was deliberately keeping India impoverished for its own gain. The cruelty reached a terrifying peak during the Bengal Famine of 1943. As 3 million people perished from hunger, Winston Churchill infamously remarked, "The famine is their own fault for breeding like rabbits." All while British warehouses in India were overflowing with grain, reserved for the war effort, but denied to the dying. The railways, the legal systems, the very things often touted as Britain's gifts to India, were in reality instruments of control. They were built not for India's benefit, but to more efficiently extract its wealth and suppress its people. This history is not just a collection of tragic stories. It's a stark reminder of what happens when power is wielded without a conscience. It shows how colonialism can wear a mask of civilization, while its hands are stained with injustice. This is a truth we must understand and never forget. Thank you for watching. If this history is important to you, please like this video and subscribe for more stories that need to be told.